Hey everybody, welcome to Circle Time Tips. My name is Rebecca Simon, Program Associate with the University of Arkansas System, Division of Agriculture. Circle Time Tips is a course that will help you learn to plan and implement circle time in your classroom. Whether you work with infants, toddlers, or preschoolers, we will look at what's involved in planning circle time, what the children will learn, and how circle time benefits each child individually and brings the class together as a community. Some objectives that we're going to cover today: we're going to define circle time, we're going to describe the benefits, and plan an effective circle time for children in your care. We're also going to describe appropriate activities, explain how transitions help children move from one activity to the next, and then describe strategies for keeping children engaged during circle time. So, what is circle time? Let's define it. It's often called large group time. That's when children come together as a group to learn and have fun, solve problems, talk things over, and learn to be part of a community. This can happen several times a day. It can last up to 15 minutes depending on the age of the children. Young children by nature are going to see the world as a me and mine, and so we want to introduce that concept of we and ours. We also want to introduce the concept of building a feeling of community among the children during circle time. So going back to the me and mine and we and ours, the me and mine is a normal, expected, and exactly where they should be according to their age and development. Circle time allows children to begin looking at the world from the perspective of we and ours. This gradual change in perspective is part of the growing process of early childhood and will not be complete for a number of years. As children and teachers come together to talk and learn, a feeling of community grows and children become more comfortable functioning as a group. During circle time, you can do many different activities with children. Read books, sing songs, dance, explore new materials, write stories together, vote on matters that are important to the children, tell stories and reenact them, play group games, and work on class projects. You can also include curriculum content in circle time by introducing an idea in the large group and then planning activities during circle time during center time that will allow the children to explore the idea on their own. So one thing necessary for successful circle time is a place for circle time. You want a space that is large enough for children to sit comfortably. A carpet or rug, as are individual carpet squares, placemats, or even using masking tape to define each child's space is great. You can also include children's names to designate their individual spots. It's helpful when managing potential conflicts. You also want a large place or a place for the teacher that is easily seen by all the children, a large tablet or easel for writing, and any of the materials, a place for any of the materials that you're needing during circle time. So the benefits of circle time. Imagine for a moment that you are a young child who goes to school or a child care setting for a large portion of the day. What would that be like for you? How would you feel? It's insightful to put yourself in the place of a child in your classroom. So circle time helps children, especially those who may be new to your group, understand how to engage with others. It also gives structure to the day. It provides a common experience that they build on while they play, a sense of belonging to the group, an opportunity to practice leading their friends, and an opportunity to solve problems together as a group. The skills that young children learn in circle time will be beneficial as they enter elementary school and even later in life. The important skills of learning to express yourself in a group, take turns, cooperate, and be part of a larger community are essential for a successful life. So in planning for circle time, planning and preparation are very important. What you do in circle time depends on the children, depends on their interest, their developed needs, and how accustomed they are to large group activities. So when introducing circle time as a new component in your daily routine, you might need to plan for short intervals until the children learn how to participate in this type of activity. As time progresses, you will find that they are more willing to sit and focus on group activities for longer periods. So right now, let's focus on planning. Includes 3 key elements. You've got your beginning, the middle, and the end. So the beginning Introducing circle time. As circle time approaches, give the children a few minutes notice before circle time begins. This gives them a chance to finish up what they are working on and to begin thinking about upcoming change. It is always helpful to let children know ahead of time what is coming next. Begin circle time with a strategy for drawing the children to the group. A simple, easy to join in activity will keep the first arrivals interested while they wait for their friends to join them. The activity will draw the attention of the children, making the activity interesting and inviting. Some examples of things you can do include songs that involve movement or focus on individual children's names, finger plays, rhyming games, or playing follow the leader. Let's begin making a circle time plan that you'll be able to implement with your children. So there is a handout. It's the circle time planning form that I would like you to get out at this moment or to refer to if you're in the online course. And so fill out the introductory activity portion of the form. If you're having trouble coming up with inspiration as to what to do to, draw those children in to the circle time, there is a handout called Introduction Transitions, which has activities suitable for young children to come to circle time. So let's plan your introductory activity. So the middle. So let's say that at the beginning you have your activity that draws kids in. So now what? Now that the children have joined you on the rug, it's time to get on with circle time. You want to greet the children by name and tell them you're glad that they are here, and then what you have planned for the circle time. By telling children what is going to happen next, you give them a sense of security and expectation. There are many ways to approach content in circle time. As you plan, have a learning goal for your time together. This goal will help you determine what kinds of activities to plan. Let's look at some ways to teach children during circle time. So daily routines, you've got your attendance. With attendance, this gives you a chance to be recognized for children to be recognized by their friends and teacher. You can sing a song that names each child and use name cards or sign-in sheets to take attendance. The calendar gives you an opportunity to teach children the days of the week and the concepts of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You can use different shapes on your calendar to make a pattern with the days. Assigning each child a job to do throughout the day provides a sense of community and responsibility. Some common jobs that may be assigned to children are line leader, door holder, table cleaner, snack helper, weather helper, and cleanup inspector. Make sure that you have enough jobs for all the children and have each child perform his or her assigned task for 1 week. This allows them time to be proficient at the task and minimizes the confusion of changing jobs daily. So another thing you can do in circle time, music. Children love to sing, and music is an important part of circle time. Now, you may feel a little self-conscious about singing, but children don't care how you sing. They just care that you sing. There are many ways to use music in circle time. One thing to do is to listen to different kinds of music. Introduce children to different genres of music. Play instruments. Invite someone from the community that you may know that can play an instrument to come in and play a drum, or play a guitar, or a banjo, whatever instrument that they have. And then develop, depending on the age, maybe invite those children to do the same thing. And make up songs or chants. There's all kinds of fun songs out there. There's also songs that you can create based on what you're doing at the time, the children in your classroom, etc. So making up songs and chants. So, in just a moment, you will view a short video clip which demonstrates how a teacher sings with the infants in her class. Notice that the children repeat back the tone and rhythm the teacher sings to them. As you view the video clip, Infant's Call Response, try to answer the following questions. How does the teacher encourage the babies to sing? And then how does the teacher-child interaction imitate conversation? So let's take a few minutes to watch this, and then we'll review on the next slide. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Your turn. Da, 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 da. That is beautiful singing. Beautiful. Ay, 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 ay. More. Should we do it again? Going to sing too. La 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 la. You do those lalas. La 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 la. Olivia was singing. La la. Da 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 da. That's a really nice deep sound. So, wasn't that the cutest video? So in this video, we see a sensitive teacher responding to the babbles of the babies in her group. She reacts to their sounds as if they were initiating a conversation with her. The taking of turns between the baby and the teacher mimics conversation and encourages the children to play with sounds and even imitate the teacher. Did you notice how the teacher also imitates the children by repeating their sounds? This exchange demonstrates how infants begin to link the sounds they make to communication with others. Their efforts at engaging in the exchange are rewarding with smiles, praise, and interchange with the teacher. The teacher also uses sign language with her words. That is beautiful, beautiful. Teaching children simple signs for common words helps them communicate before they are able to express themselves verbally. So finger plays. Finger plays are poems or rhymes recited with hand motions. You may be familiar with Itsy Bitsy Spider from your own childhood. Finger plays are a great way to encourage children to participate and be involved with the group. So this finger play requires listening, watching, imitation, and memory. They include rhyming words, alliteration, that's the words which begin with the same sound, rhythm and gestures that indicate a message. All the skills that are useful in emerging literacy. In circle time, finger plays are often used at the beginning of your time together to engage children and give them an opportunity to speak, wiggle, and move their bodies, which is what they want to do when they are close together. A teacher can successfully use finger plays to get the attention of the whole group. Many finger plays utilize simple language and phrases that are appropriate for infants and toddlers who are just beginning to talk. Modeling language is very important with young children. They mean that they need for you to simplify your language when speaking to them. So reading books. Reading to children supports language development. Reading to children of all ages is helping them have an enthusiasm for reading. Reading to children encourages them in their own reading experience, and also reading aloud provides an enjoyable experience with books and motivates children to want to learn to read on their own. They see you reading and they want to imitate that. Reading aloud also increases vocabulary and comprehension skills for young children. So, in helping children understand the story, there are a few things that you can do while reading a book during circle time. First, show the cover of the book. Read the title and ask, what do you think this book is about? Whether they guess correctly or not, say, oh, those are good guesses. Let's read the book and see. Another strategy you can use to help increase children's understanding of the book is to give them a question to think about as you read the story. For example, the cover of the book has a picture of a large fish with a big frown. As I read the story, think about the question, why is the fish sad? When you're finished reading, revisit the question and talk about it as a group. And then review the story, summarizing the main points. This will help increase their comprehension skills. So, learning new words. Children learn language best when they have the opportunity to experience or act out new words. Simply labeling an object or picture is ineffective in teaching children a new word. Rather, have them act out the new words. Acting out the word and linking it to their own life experience will help the children remember the new word and enable them to eventually use the words in their conversation with others. A rich vocabulary is an indicator of success in kindergarten and elementary school. As teachers of young children, we need to introduce uncommon words to children frequently to build their vocabulary. So, storytelling. Have you noticed how children love to tell stories, whether they're true or not? Research tells us that storytelling is perhaps the most powerful way that human beings organize experience. And there's a sequential way in which children develop into storytellers. So by age 3, a child is able to construct and tell a story without the help of an adult. In Circle Time, we can tell stories in several different ways. Teachers can tell familiar stories, such as fairy tales, using puppets, flannel boards, and costumes. While the children listen to the story, the props can help them follow the storyline. Teachers can make up stories using familiar topics, characters, and even names of children in the class. This would be a great way to address problems you might be having. Encourage children to create their own stories. That's another way in storytelling that you can give children the opportunity to tell a story of their own. You can ask one of them to tell a short story while the class listens, or play a game where you can pass a prop, such as a small car, and let each child make up a line to the story before passing the prop to the next person. Flannel boards. I'm sure you're all familiar with flannel boards. It is a board about the size of a poster board and covered with flannel fabric on which you can place felt pieces that illustrate a story as you tell it. The pieces can be homemade or purchased commercially. Children can use a flannel board to tell a story, playing alone or with each other during free play. So a fun thing to do in Circle Time is to have children act out a story they have just heard. That's called reenacting the story. You can do this by providing simple props, such as a hat, scarf, or basket, or any other object that will help them pretend. As children remember the characters and what happened in the story, their comprehension of it is increased. As they reenact a story, you or another child can be the narrator, describing what the actors are doing and giving hints when they need a little help. You can leave these props out when children go to centers so they can continue this important type of play throughout the day. You may want to put the props in your pretend play center. So sharing time. Sharing time is an important function of Circle Time, is giving the children a chance to speak while their friends listen. Gives individual children the chance to have the floor. You can create a systematic way of giving each child his or her turn at having the floor. This provides an opportunity to model meaningful writing to children. It helps build their self-esteem and confidence, and it gives children practice for letting others be the center of attention. So exploring new materials. This allows children to handle and explore materials that you're introducing into your classroom. That allows them to draw their own conclusions of that material. And then you, as an educator, would listen and observe the children as they explore. So let's look at a video clip that demonstrates the idea of exploring new materials. These children are exploring seashells during Circle Time. As you view the video from exploring seashells, see if you can answer the following questions. How does the teacher set up the seashell exploration activity? What are some things you notice? What are some things you notice about the setup? What do you observe the children doing with the seashells? And what kind of activities would be good ways to follow up this period of exploration during circle time?
No, that's you. Well, this is not very over. I don't know on the whale in there. So it's a whale in here. We can mix it. Let me see. There's a whale. We're biting you already. No, it's not. Let me see. No, there's not no whale in there. Bye-bye. I don't know the whale bites you. It's not cheap and they don't it's when the daddy said I don't think I don't see nobody in here. Are you on the phone? Nope. There's like a flag here. Oh, I see him. Oh, there's another shell. This one looks like a boat. This one has holes. This boat too. No, that's a castle. What it is? Hello. I don't think there's no anybody in there. I think there's a lion. And this one looks like a turtle. I got this one. And Colin, this one looks like a phone.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Daddy, this is a break and a view. What are you doing, Daddy? It's a break and a view. No, that's
Okay, so let's talk about what we just saw. So what did you notice about the setup? So the teacher sets up a space for exploration with a plastic mat. You notice that it's in a carpeted area, but she had that plastic mat there to protect from the sand that they would get from the seashells. The children are allowed to handle the seashells and explore their various attributes. You saw them, holding it, putting it up to their face, listening to see if there was any sound, talking into it closely to see if how their voice sounded as it bounced off the seashell. The children talk about what the seashells look like and also use them as props for pretending. And then what are some things the teachers could do to follow up? They could follow up by suggesting that children consider different ways to use the seashells. So, problem solving. Circle time gives your class the opportunity to discuss things that are relevant to everyone. These discussions can cover a wide range of subjects, such as putting your paper towel in the trash can after you wash your hands, rules for sharing toys, ways you can help a child who is having difficulties, brainstorming ways to learn about a subject that interests the children, or solving problems together. This collaborative effort of coming together as a group to discuss things of interest creates a feeling of community. This activity gives them a voice and teaches them to listen to the voices of others as well. Teachers can facilitate this in several ways. So let's watch a video clip and get some ideas. So here's a short video clip which demonstrates children planning together during circle time. The teacher is facilitating a discussion which follows up on a project they began the day before. They are trying to decide whether or not their doghouse should have doors, and if so, what type of doors should they make. So as you watch the video, try to answer some of the questions below. What kind of questions does the teacher ask to encourage the children to think? How does she include each child in the discussion? And how does she encourage the children to listen to one another? So let's see.
Remember we started our doghouse drawing sketches?
something like a triangle.
What would we need a triangle for?
Another one, and you put it on top and you nail it.
Oh, do you guys hear that? Theo, how about going and sit next to Stephanie, please?
The roof.
We need the roof? like that idea to have a triangle roof for the doghouse? Yeah. Okay, so we need to finish that. Also, what else is missing on our doghouse? Well, the dog. We'll put that in. We have to fix the dog's legs, don't we? Do you want me to go get the doghouse so you can look at it and see what's missing? Do you want to grab it, Theo? Oh, you know what? No, it's small enough that only Theo needs to get it. Thank you, though. Have a seat, please. Sterling. That's another seat, buddy. Okay. So there's the doghouse. What else is missing? We're gonna have a triangle roof, and then what else is missing? The doors. It doesn't need a door? Okay, wait. You guys, did you hear Sterling? He's saying we might not need a door.
How would we put them in
Listen to
these
Theo, please.
horses?
Go ahead, Theo.
But we
What were you
won't be
saying?
able to get them out. We don't need those because these look like fine doors.
They're fine doors.
No, you open them and then shut them.
Is there anything to open and shut?
No. Dog. Not, you want the dog to stand there. And not go out. That's two.
Okay, did you guys hear what Jensen said? What if we want the dog to stay in and not come out?
Lock the door.
So do we need a door?
Yeah. Well, no. No. If we lock the door, we don't have a lock. We cannot lock, and we have to put a needle there.
Do we just put a needle there?
I mean, and then
A nail?
kitty. Yeah.
Okay, Sterling, sit up, buddy.
Well, if it goes in, and when it's in, it goes back out. If it wants to have fun. No, what are we doing? No, what if it scratches you? You have to just let it stay in its cage. No. If I understood it, then it doesn't move. The dog doesn't get doors because if we're going
Oh, you guys, listen, because Jensen's talking. Hold on, Theo. Go ahead, Jensen.
I think that we should do doors because if we're gone and we don't want to go out, then we need the doors to stay there. What about if we put it next to that fence? That would be a good dog. We could do this to move.
Can you show us, Theo? What do you mean?
And then we let the dog.
Block him off?
And then,
What about the other side?
This side.
and then we let. Maybe that could
Should we
be
put-
the back door.
Should we put a door on one side maybe and leave the other one
This
open?
could be the. And then we
Yeah.
could be the back
Okay,
door.
you guys, Greg's trying to say something now. Go ahead, Greg.
We let the dog out. We don't want to put him in it. Yeah, we don't. We gotta leave him out and play in the backyard.
Yard.
And he wants to run. Dogs like to run.
They do. So are we gonna make doors?
Yeah. This looks like a front door. This looks like the back door.
Yeah, when you put it like that, huh?
But we want it to move around. It could change like this.
Guess what? I just have an idea.
What?
Sterling,
What's your idea? Just like this.
have you guys ever heard of a dog door? What's a dog door?
Oh, it's on the door and it goes like,
So the dog can come in and out as it wants?
yeah, like my dog by itself. My dog can't go through my dog door.
Why not?
How about Wibble? Sore leg. It goes like.
So what if,
It doesn't
Hey,
never
sit down, please.
ever go through the door.
Dawson, please sit up, buddy. What if we make dog door. And then, if we don't want the dog to be able to get out, like when we're away, then we can put the door up against the fence.
And then on the other side, we can put a real door.
Right. So it can get in and out if it wants to, or it can stay in if we need it to. Do you guys like that idea?
Yeah!
So, did you notice how the teacher asked open-ended questions to facilitate the discussion and encourage children to think creatively? She asks a question and gives the children time to think. She considered each idea that is presented, and that she insisted, what I noticed, and I was very she's doing a good job. She insists that the children listen to and not interrupt each other. And she wasn't rude about it. It was just, it's time for her to talk. We're going to listen to this child. So that's just some things that, you can take away from this video. So creative movement. Creative movement encourages self-expression. It can reflect the mood or inner state of a child, and it helps children control their bodies, gain coordination, respond to music and rhythm, and express their creativity in a number of physical ways. So this next video is the Dancing Freeze. In this short video, you'll see 4-year-old children having a great time dancing to music in their classroom. As you view the video, Dancing the Freeze, see if you can answer the following questions. What do you think children are learning from this activity? What do the children have to do to know how to move their bodies and when to freeze? And what would be a good follow-up activity to this one? So, in this video, a group of children have spread themselves throughout the classroom so that everyone has plenty of room to dance and move about. They have to listen carefully to the music and freeze when it stops. So what did you come up with for the first question? What do you think the children are learning from this activity? So children have to listen carefully to the music and the verbal cues. They are interacting with one another by partnering with a friend for some of the song. They are following the verbal cues of their teacher, who tells them to jump, shake, and freeze. She is clearly familiar with the song, giving warning when a change is coming. Please note that the teacher is dancing with the children and enjoying the activity with them. A great follow-up activity would be to do the same song or one similar in tempo that has pauses throughout with no verbal directions. This would be a little more challenging and encourage better listening skills, which is an important component of emerging literacy in young children. So, the developmental levels of children in regards to circle time. So, what can my children do in the classroom during circle time? What is too easy or too difficult? And then what do my children need? So understanding what typical behavior looks like, what is too challenging or not challenging enough, and then what children need at different ages is the most helpful for a teacher of young children. Let's look at what you can expect from different age groups of children as you gather together for circle time. So older infants and toddlers, which that's the age range from 10 months to 2 years, they're going to enjoy gathering for circle time. However, it needs to be much less structured than with older children. They're going to listen to stories for a short while and enjoy speaking and engaging in conversation. They're going to enjoy imitating and following someone else's lead, enjoy songs and finger plays, short books, and circle time with this age should last 5 to 10 minutes. I'd say more on the 5-minute side, and you would probably want to work up to that 5 or 10 minutes. And you also by doing that, you're sensitive to their attention span. If you notice that you're losing them, that they're losing that focus, or they're not paying attention, reflect on what you're doing and possibly end circle time and transition into something else. So with preschoolers, that's going to be the age range from 3 to 4 years old. At age 3, children begin to have more self-control, so circle time is a little bit easier for the child and for the educator. They're going to have longer attention spans. They're going to be interested in books and stories. They can wait for a turn, sing longer songs, and move their body creatively, like we saw in the freeze video. They're going to show initiative in coming up with their own ideas. So this is whenever you would, start to introduce those problem-solving strategies or asking them to tell a story. Circle time can last up to 20 minutes with children of this age. So continuing with your circle time planning form, using that handout provided and information from previous slides, plan the content, the middle part of your circle time. So ask yourself, what would work with your children and what materials do you have to use? Again, refer back to that circle time planning form, that handout that's available, and let's plan the middle portion of your circle time, the content. So we're reaching the end of circle time. So that would involve transitions. So think about a typical day at school or childcare. There are many instances when children move from one activity to the next. There's arrival time, snack time, center time, circle time, lunchtime, outside time, and nap time. Time. Provide children with a warning when changes are coming. You can do that by reading a book or ringing a bell, blinking the lights, or singing a song. So transitions should be quick, fun, purposeful, provide a change in pace, gain the children's attention, and provide a learning or teaching connection. They should keep the children on task, get their attention, and provide a time filler between activities. In circle time, we have 2 points. We have 2 points of transition. One, the introduction, has already been discussed. The next point of transition is the end of circle time. It's important to plan a purposeful way to move children to the next activity. You can plan transitions that repeat or emphasize what you've just learned, as in, the example that we've used before. So in the handout entitled Closing Transitions, you have a list of ideas that encourage thinking as children move from one activity to the next throughout the day. Let's take a few moments to read over these transitions and mark the ones that would work best with your age group. So some signals to children that circle time is over, moves children to the next activity, maintains order as children move 1 to 2 at a time. So let's go back to that circle time planning form. So let's complete the closing time planning form. You want to review the closing transitions handout and select one that will work with your children. Let's take a few moments to complete this portion of the lesson plan. So some strategies for successful circle time. Obviously, you want to make a plan with your co-teacher. You want to discuss what each adult will be doing. If you don't have a co-teacher, have a plan in place for helping children that are not able to be at circle time. So if you have children that may not participate well in circle time, make allowances for those children. Have a quiet activity placed on a table where a child can be directed if he or she is unable to keep from disrupting others during circle time. And then you may also notice a place for children to go when they need to be alone, because some children have that sensory, have too much going on, they get overwhelmed or stressed with something. Recognizing that and having a space where they can go to feel safe and to, calm down or cool down is great to have. So another strategy for implementing a successful circle time is to pay attention to how children are seated. There are several different approaches to this. One is to simply let children sit wherever they wish, with the simple rule of keep your hands and body to yourself. Many teachers like this approach because it is uncomplicated and easy. Some teachers have a rug for circle time that is designed to give children a place to sit. For example, on the border of the rug there are letters on pictures giving each child a spot. Some teachers use carpet squares or even plastic placemats to give a child a spot. Others use masking tape on the floor with the child's name written on the tape. The method you choose will depend on the age of your children, as well as their ability to sit together in close quarters. And again, give simple rules that children can follow, such as keeping your hand and body to yourself. So selecting children. During circle time, there are often periods when you need a child to do a particular task or to answer a question. It is important to be purposeful in your selection of who gets chosen, keeping in mind that everyone needs a fair chance at being selected. Calling only on the children who are sitting quietly will leave certain children out every time. Try making name cards or using popsicle sticks with the children's name on them. Have these accessible as you lead circle time, and when you need a helper, randomly choose a card or a stick. This prevents you from accidentally neglecting any children and also gives them the assurance that you don't have favorites. So another thing that could be useful in whenever you're selecting would be chooser bags. The chooser bag provides a tool for creating a neutral and fair system of selecting helpers and or participants for activities. The selection system is not based on merit, but on observation and identification skills, allowing each child to have a chance, even the wiggly, talkative ones. For this, a bag of any kind is used. A fabric drawstring or a small gift sack would work. There is in your handouts a chooser bag cards that you can print, cut them apart, and place them in the bag. Whenever you need a helper or participant, pick a card from your bag, and the chooser is the child that best fits the description of the card you selected. So if more than one child fits the category, boy's named Sam, for instance, you may have those children stand up and then pick another card to further the selection process. Or you may tell the children you are thinking of a number between 1 and 5 and ask them to guess what it is. But chooser bags are a great way to create a neutral and fair system of selecting helpers. Be flexible, which as an early childhood educator, I already know that you're flexible. You have to be in order for things to work in your classroom. One characteristic of a successful early childhood teacher is flexibility. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you planned, and that's okay. We've all learned in 2020 that things don't work out the way we planned. Be ready to put a book down and stop reading if the children are simply not interested, or to end circle time early if there's a conflict among the children. It's a delicate balance, knowing when to insist that children follow directions and when to say, hey, this isn't working right now, let's go play outside where you can be as loud and active as you wish. Make note of what works with your particular children and what doesn't. Always be willing to adjust the plan, try new things, new approaches, and be creative. Have fun with your children. So, in conclusion, know the abilities of your children and plan accordingly to their developmental needs and levels. Plan well and have all materials ready for you to begin. Include a variety of activities such as books, music, creative movement, writing, problem solving, storytelling, and exploration in circle time. Include daily routines such as calendar, daily jobs, and weather. Begin and end circle time with a transition that keeps children engaged and interested. Ensure fairness by using a systematic approach for selecting children that is not based on behavior only, and then work with your co-teachers to ensure that you support one another in circle time, and be flexible and have fun. Here are my references for this lesson. This concludes the unit on Circle Time Tips. Please complete the evaluation for this unit. Thank you.